Okay, welcome to another Vintage League here. Today we are trying out Mono Black Scam Reanimator with a bit of a twist. This kind of one I've been wanting to try for a while, and the core idea here is, the Mono Black Scam deck has been doing well in Vintage recently. As of recording this, you'll probably see it a bit later, but as of recording this last week, Mono Black Scam did really well in a couple challenges, like with the inclusion of Mai from the Avatar set, the deck got a really huge boost on it. Most of the Mono Black Scam decks that are doing well are playing 3 or 4 of this main deck. We're going to do a slight spin on this. We're still playing some Mai's on the sideboard, but taking a bit of a spin here. We're playing Emperor of Bones, 4 of these cards, and then 4 Entombs. The Entomb, this is just the new avatar art for it, the cheapest one. Entomb searches for a card. We can get a couple, a few different creatures here we can get, but the coolest one would be Jumbo Cactuar, which when it attacks gets 1,000 power. So if you've got an Emperor of Bones in play, let's say you go Mox Swamp Emperor of Bones on turn 1, turn 2 you untap, you play Entomb, you get Jumbo Cactuar, you activate Emperor of you go to your beginning of combat step, you put Cactuar under Emperor of Bones, you activate Emperor of Bones' ability, putting Cactuar into play, and then it swings because it gets haste. So you can win turn 2 with this deck. By going turn 1, Mox land, Emperor of Bones, turn 2, land, Entomb, Jumbo Cactuar, and then, do I just said to activate and put the Cactuar into play and swing. Which is pretty cool. We've got full Mox in here and stuff, so we can and Dark Ritual, so we can, pretty reasonably set up this combo. Like even just like turn 1, Dark Ritual, Emperor of Bones, Entomb. Like that works too. That just threatens lethal right away. You play the Emperor of Bones first, then you play the Entomb. Once you've got the Jumbo Cactuar into play, your opponent will know what's up, but unless they have removal, they're not going to be able to interact with the combo at that point, so they've got to, they're in a tight spot. If that's, let's say the opponent's got like multiple blockers or something and they're not going to be able to win with the Cactuar, you can of course just Entomb for an Atraxa. That's always a great play. Then you get the Atraxa trigger, the Atraxa swing. That's, a good way of doing things. And even just like cycle Troll, put it under Emperor of Bones. That's a lot of damage because Emperor of Bones becomes a 4/4/2 when you adapt it. It gets 2+1/+1 counters. We are also playing Obsessive Pursuit here. Obsessive Pursuit is another way. There we go. Obsessive Pursuit is another avatar card. It has done pretty well in Legacy in a few lists. I saw a few, people, YouTube videos and whatnot hyping up this card. I think it's pretty good. So it does like a lot of things, as a lot of new cards do. So it's a card advantage engine because it keeps making clues, which you can sack to draw cards. It also can make creatures bigger and potentially give them lifelink, which is all great stuff in our deck here. But the coolest thing that it can do in our deck is that Emperor of Bones, so you can play 1 and a black to adapt, and that puts 2+1/+1 counters on Emperor of Bones, which triggers its ability to put a creature into play. But this is whenever it gets +1/+1 counters. So if you put a +1/+1 counter on Emperor of Bones with the Obsessive Pursuit, you get to trigger its ability and put another creature into play. So it's a little combo here. We can just keep getting creatures with Emperor of Bones and Obsessive Pursuit. Of note, Ravenloft Adventurer has the initiative, and if you put the +1/+1 counters of the initiative on Emperor of Bones, this again triggers the Emperor of Bones ability. So all things to be considering if trying out this kind of deck or this strategy, right? Other than that, we've got, pretty standard Scam Shell and good black cards. We've got 4 Grief, 4 Reanimate. We've got the Scam package. We don't want to lose to Wasteland, so all we're doing is just playing swamps. We have a combo plan. Our deck does a very powerful thing. Swaps. We're not going to lose to Wasteland. We don't want to lose to Wasteland. Just swaps. We're just going to try and do our thing. Full power and Lotus, of course. For Dark Ritual, for, again, very quick starts. Like, we are playing just Entomb and Reanimate, right? Like, don't forget, we've got the Emperor opponent, but we can just go, like, Dark Ritual, Entomb, Atraxa, Reanimate, Atraxa. We have that capability. Of course, we've got the Scam package here. For Boggart Trawler, so these are non-basic lands, but, like, they're also a creature, so, you know. Don't at me. I recognize that this can get wastelanded, but ideally we want to play this as a creature. It's very good as a creature. Troll also gets swamps. That's relevant, and then you can reanimate it. Atraxa and Jumbo Cactuar are Entomb targets. We can't really discard these. Like, we can pitch Atraxa to Grief. We've got one Collective Brutality in the deck, which in theory we can, like, Demonic or Vampiric Tutor for in order to discard, like, in a very weird scenario, but it's kind of niche. Like, you don't have to play the Collective Brutality. 2 Voidmere, 1 Vexing Bauble, and 1 Null Rod as protection on top of the Griefs. This is vintage after all. 2 Long Goodbyes in the main, and 2 more in the sideboard as removal. Demonic Vampiric, like I said, of course, they're Broken Tutors. We're a combo deck. 2 Caustic Broncos. So this is part of, like, the mid-rangey plan. So, of course, we can combo here. But we've got, just a pretty reasonable, with cards like Dauthi Voidwalker, which is also Graveyard Hate, just a pretty reasonable mid-range plan. Like, this turns into a 4/4 when you adapt it. We can just win mid-range games with this deck. I think that about covers the main deck. Also, we got 1 Jecht we can search for. This is kind of like a super Barrogoyf, but it costs 4 mana. I really like this card. You could play Barrogoyf in this spot. Barrogoyf is obviously, probably a little bit better because it's 3 mana. But this is kind of a pet card of mine. But, feel free to swap this one and the sideboard one for Barrogoyfs if you'd prefer to play Barrogoyfs. This is that kind of a slot, though. I think that covers all the main deck. Yeah, I got 1 Thoughtseize in here, a little more protection. But yeah. Sideboard, like we said, 2 Mai's. So the idea is we're very much a graveyard-based deck game 1, and we want to board out a lot of the graveyard stuff games 2 and 3. Against any deck that's kind of combo-y and playing a bunch of spells, Mai is amazing. Those come in. For a lot of the same decks, the Null Rods are going to come in. Leyline is for the graveyard decks, specifically the bizarre ones. Not bringing this in against, like, Breach. No. Stays in the sideboard, but for the bizarre decks, we'll bring this in. Dauthi Voidwalker, 1 more card. This one you can bring in against Breach, because, like, you want to clock. The whole point is, against a deck like Breach, Graveyard Hate is good, but it's not good if you don't have a clock, so Dauthi is really good, whereas Leyline, 2 Long Goodbyes for the Lurrus Frog decks and Mono White initiatives. Thoughtseize can come in against a lot of stuff, but mostly the combo decks. And then we've got 1 more Jecht, which again could be a Barrogoyf, but I just love this card, and it is quite good. I genuinely do think it is quite good. And then 2 Ravenloft Adventurers. So if our opponent is going to be bringing in Graveyard Hate, what we want to do is try and be slamming, like, Haymakers off of Dark Ritual and fast mana that makes their Graveyard Hate look silly and can clock very quickly. And obviously the Mono White Initiative deck has shown that, like, a little bit of disruption, kind of like, Voidmere, Mai, Grief Scam, followed up by a quick clock that the initiative provides, is an effective strategy, so that's what we're doing here. Remember to like, subscribe, all that before we get into game 1 here. Any ideas or thoughts, let me know down below. Love to hear all that. Helps with the algorithm and all that stuff. And I'll see you in round 1. Okay, here we go. We're on the play. I'm guessing our opponent's got a Lurrus here. We got to pause. Wonder if our opponent's here. Alright, you can skip ahead. I'm just gonna mute. Oh, no, here we go. They've got Lurrus. Um, Interesting. Obviously an iffy keep. I think we just... I think I am going to keep it and just trying to get a troll turn 1. But I can definitely see mulling this. If one of these swamps was like another action card, I feel a lot better. But like, we go for a troll turn 1, and we play an emperor turn 2. We draw an Entomb, you know, or a tutor for an Entomb, then we can try and win turn 3. A lot of other stuff we could draw too. And we don't have to worry about mana. Which against, if they're playing the Wasteland version of Lurrus, we don't know if they're playing Control or Combo Lurrus yet, but we'll try and reanimate our troll and see how that goes. Alright, they don't care. That's not a good sign for us. It probably means they either have swords or they're the combo version. We can just have 6 now because they can see our hand. Misty, I feel like means combo. Would not mind drawing like a Thoughtseize or a Void Mirror or something if that's the case. Null Rod, Emerald. So it's either Lurrus, Deathrite Shaman, or combo. Combo. Not great. It's a bad hand. A bad keep against combo. It's a reasonable keep against control. A bad keep against combo. And just a little unfortunate we're against the combo one. Null Rod would be a great draw. Thoughtseize would be fine. They got a blocker now, so the Jumbo Cactuar plan doesn't work, but we could still bring back an Atraxa, which would be good. Oh, they got a recall. Okay, that's catastrophic. Jeez. That probably means we're just dead now. Why are we lagging so much? The recall is brutal. We are lagging like crazy. MTGO is struggling. Has been for a while now, unfortunately. Just gonna mute until we're able to do things. Yeah, so drawing a bunch of swamps basically just means we're dead. We needed action. If they don't kill us next turn, though, like we've got lines where they're going to be at 11. If we draw a troll, our other troll, we can cycle it, bring it back with Emperor, and then we win. So if they don't kill us here, we do have just cards that just straight up win, like Troll, which would be pretty cool. But they're probably just going to recall and then PO and then win this turn, so it is what it is. Yep. I'm just going to F6 here, because if we're not countering recall, they know we don't have anything. Pretend I've got a trap. We'll pretend we have a trap. That's spell 1. Yep. Mechanic Island seems good. They need a red or blue Moxen to hit us with a sorry, with the Flame of the North. They can blow up the troll with the flame, which is problematic. And then we can bring it back with the Emperor, though, so. Do they just not have any Moxen, or... Alright, if they swing... Alright, they just got a terrible recall, then. That's bizarre. Okay. Let's see if that gets there. Let's see what they got. We will get our troll. And they see the line. So we bring back the troll, they can't block, and we swing for 12. That's pretty sweet. Alright. We drew exactly what we needed. Alright, we got lucky there, but I'll take it. Um Um, I think This seems about right. Yeah, let's try this. It might bring in graveyard hate, but on the play, this is a great hand. On the draw, I've got questions. We can turn 1, Dark Ritual, Void Mirror, get a Mai, play Mai. That's reasonable. Is it good enough, though? This is close. The thing is, we can put a bunch of permanents, hate bearers in play, but they just put a bunch of Moxen down first. That gets around our Void Mirror on the draw. I think it's too weak, actually. I think this is better. So we go to our turn, Mox Sapphire, Dark Ritual, Thoughtseize, Emperor, Entomb, try and set up a turn 2 win. It's not a perfect plan, but I think it's the best we got. We have to hope that they didn't mull to a bonkers hand, obviously. Alright, 1 Moxen, they got another one? Crap. Alright, we could just die here. Alright, well maybe not. That's a good follow-up. Alright, let's Thoughtseize them first, see what we're working with here. Swords, Paradoxical Outcome, Snapcaster. That turns off our Jumbo Cactuar line. We could still go for Atraxa. If they draw a artifact mana, they go crazy. The safe play would be taking PO, playing Void Mirror, entombing Atraxa. But there's just... I think we have to try and get lucky here. I think we take the swords. I think we take the swords and just hope to fade a turn. Now, if they draw a mana source, we're in trouble here, obviously. And since they got the Snapcaster, and this is kind of an open issue thing here, we're just going to put the Atraxa in the bin. And we're not going to take the Atraxa. We're just going to take the swords. We don't want them to snap it back. But we gotta fade an artifact mana source. And they got a scry, so we really want them to put this into the graveyard. Because an artifact mana source means they can PO, and that's bad for us. Okay. Big draw here. White swords. Okay. That's not good for us. Yeah, that Scryland saved them. We would like to draw a Reanimate now. That's our best draw. I think we play the Emperor again, and we take the swords. Again, this is risky, because if they draw an artifact mana, they just PO, but... They draw another swords? Okay. Alright, well, our opponent's also getting lucky. I would like to draw a Reanimate, please. That's a good one for them. That means they can PO now. That was probably the worst draw we could have seen. They can PO now for 3 if they want to. And if they draw a land, they can play the land in the Soul Ring again. If they don't, they pass. We can attempt to try and draw like a Null Rod. Null Rod would be a good draw here now. Grief is not a good draw. Especially since our mana's turned off. Blue. Blue. Thunder Trap, yeah. Yeah, we're in trouble now. We had a couple opportunities there, but they drew swords and swords, so... Bit unfortunate for us. And now they've got to stock up, so... That's all bad. I assume they just play the stock up. Our best draw is probably Null Rod, of which we do have 3 in the deck. They probably just want to land. Land something else would be. I think if we don't draw a Reanimate or a Null Rod here, we're dead. Let's just keep playing. Let's see what they took. Paradoxical Outcome, Soul Guide Lantern, Snapcaster Mage, Stuck Up. The Soul Guide's good against us. I think we have to take the Snapcaster Mage. But that does, the Soul Guide does mean that all of our best plays here are turned off now. And they can Lurrus they can get Lurrus now. There was probably, I don't know. Hopefully they cast the Soul Guide off of a Soul Ring. That's our only hope. I've done silly things like that before. We're kind of in the we lose unless our opponent makes a big mistake territory. I think Null Rod. Oh, okay. Of course, we draw the Reanimate now. um, grumble, grumble, grumble. They are going really slow. I assume they're double queuing or something. They are not in a rush. We're gonna do this to make them crack the Soul Guide Lantern. We might as well. Because otherwise we get to Thoughtseize them. So, yeah. I don't understand exactly what went on there. I think they might be double queuing. I feel like this is not a. So we won game one, right? Game two, they've only got 11 minutes left. This game's going to take a while because they got to win through the Void Mirror and stuff. I think maybe if they're double queuing, they just don't have enough time. I don't know. All right. Anyway, we got the W. All right. Here we go. Yes. So we got obviously turn one Dark Ritual, Entomb, Reanimate, but I think we pitched the Dauthi Voidwalker. See what we're up against here. Um, I think we take the White Plum. So here's the question. Do we want a Jumbo Cactuar or do we want the Atraxa? I think kind of makes me sad, but I think we want the Atraxa. So what do we want here? Black Lotus. Swamp. Actually, we just take the Void Mirror? No, we don't have enough mana. We can't play the Void Mirror right now. So yeah, we want the Lotus. Long Goodbye. Troll. Right. Kind of whiffed, didn't we? Hmm. I think that's okay. Alright. We're up against Mono White Initiative. So we want the Long Goodbyes. And we want the Thoughtseize. That gets a lot worse. The Cobra's pretty bad. The Dauthis are pretty bad. The Null Rods and the Void Mirrors on the draw are all pretty bad. These are atrocious, though. I think, So like playing a Null Rod might, be helpful. You can leave in one. The Collective Brutality just doesn't kill much. Most of their stuff has 3 toughness. I think on the draw, that's what we want. I think it's a very different story on the play, though. On the draw, it's a very tough matchup. It's kind of a get lucky hand. We'll see if we get lucky. We did not get lucky. Narrator. I assume they just hit the Dark Ritual here, which is a problem for us. Yep. Ooh, and they got a Containment Priest. That's bad. That's brutal. That is brutal. We're in trouble here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Containment Priest is going to get us. So we're going to entomb our Atraxa anyway, because we might as well. But we have to find land and removal spell, which is a big ask. That is not any of it. Yep. I think that means we're just dead. Yeah, that Containment Priest got us. Yeah, we can't deal with two things. All right. Fair enough. So we're gonna bring back in the Void Mirrors and the Vexing Bauble. We will take out the Null Rod, the Dauthi Voidwalker, and maybe the life gain on the Bronco is a little risky. The life loss, I mean, if you're not crewing it. I think that's okay. We'll try that. I mean, this is Grief and Thoughtseize on turn 1 with maybe Vamp for Reanimate upkeep turn 2. I think it's a keep. Not amazing, though, and a Chancellor really messes us up. Really hoping they don't have a Chancellor trigger here. Mulligan's helpful. Ooh. Did they reveal? They didn't reveal a Chancellor though. Yeah, I think it's the Jecht. Anointed Peacekeeper. Anointed Peacekeeper. Quite good against us, actually. Alright, I feel a lot worse about this now. Really hoping that I have like a initiative creature we could steal. The Leyline makes this pretty bad. Guess we take the Containment Priests. Yep. We're in trouble. That's not what we want. I get a Peacekeeper now. Or something else. I got 3 cards in hand. They got the Peacekeeper. Oh, they can name Emperor. That's smart. Is there anything that we could vamp for that would actually be good here? The answer is very sadly no. Well, that's sad. I think we just take a draw. No, that seems dumb. No. Maybe. Oh boy. Frozen. Yep. The Peacekeeper naming the Emperor's ability is pretty good. Forgot about that. The cards that we kind of want to play cost an extra mana. I think maybe we just get the damage in, to be honest. Okay. Interesting. They have a swords. That probably means they've got a swords. So we can bring back the Peacekeeper. If that's the case, do we want... Maybe it's just long goodbye anyway? Hmm. They've got another white plume and a containment priest. Doesn't really matter. They'll... That was an interesting play. I don't think they should have done that, because maybe they don't realize that it goes away at the end of turn. They can play both of them next turn, though, if they draw a land, which is a problem. If they draw a land here, that's bad for us. White plume, yep. 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 They didn't draw a land, that's good for us. That is bad for us. They played the White Plume, right? Yeah. I think we forge because then, as long as they don't play an initiative creature. We could play the White Plume again when we kill. Oh, we played the. That's a pretty cool interaction. I haven't realized this. So how this works is whenever +1/+1 counters put on this creature, it's not just the from the adaptabilities whenever. So we when we forge onto it, we get to play the White Plume. We get to put another creature into play. We can put the White Plume into play and trap immediately, and we deal 5 to them and we win. So that was pretty cool. It made a bit of a punt in the middle there by blocking the Peacekeeper. That it should just not have blocked. It would have been a little more interesting, but this was they didn't know we had the long goodbye though. They knew we tutored for something. They didn't know it was removal though. So interesting game. Yeah, good one. Okay, here we go. Be on the play. Oh, we froze. Oh boy. All right, we did choose to play it first. I was worried with the freezing there. Um, how much mana do we have in turn 1? 5, so we can go Bronco, Voidwalker, Thoughtseize. I guess that's good enough. I see. Interesting. Why are we freezing? Um, would have liked to have the Lotus, but okay. We're in the mirror match here, pseudo mirror at least. think Leyline's going too deep. Maybe it's on the draw, it's not, to be honest. Maybe on the draw, it's okay. The thing is, they can, like, reanimate our own stuff. Probably is going too far. Let's try that. We're certainly unfavored on the draw. They kept 7, that's bad. I'm tempted just to keep it and try and high roll. But like if they take the Dark Ritual, we're in so much trouble. I think we just keep it and try and high roll. We got turn 1 Troll. Reanimate. Thoughtseize. F6 that one. They're probably taking the Dark Ritual then. Oh, they can take the Boggart Trawler and do the same thing that we did to them. I didn't even think of that. No, I should have mulliganed this. You're gonna take the Boggart Trawler. Yeah, this was dumb. I assume they're reading Jecht, but they're gonna take the Boggart Trawler, yeah. Reanimate, reanimate, time walk, troll. That's bad. I guess it's time walk. Yeah, it should have been a mull. That was silly. Mm-hmm. I think because they got 2 trolls, we can't do anything now. And our long goodbyes are not dismembered, so they cannot kill trolls. Yeah. We can just scoop to that as long as they... We're dead. We'll try again. So I want the Vexing Bauble on the play. That does have text. Um, I think the Obsessive Pursuit can go. Alright, let's try that. And we're on the play. Um, I don't love it, but I think it is good enough. Ooh. Dauthi Voidwalker, Long Goodbye, Psychic Frog, Thoughtseize. Hmm. I think the Psychic Frog's the scariest thing. So let's see what they want. I assume they just take an Emperor, but we'll see. Oh, that took the land, the Boggart Trawler. They can just long goodbye it, so I think I'm just going to instead take the Thoughtseize. I kind of want to get the troll. Yep. Oh, we can't do it yet. Whoopsies. Oh, we can do it, right? Yeah. A Dark Ritual lets us cast... That's a bad one. A Dark Ritual let us cast the Psychic Frog, which would be good. Okay. Nope, I don't get the, we don't get the troll. That's not good. Alright, we've got good draws. That is not one of them. We don't want to draw our Atraxa, so we're just going to bin that. Top deck war. That's not bad. Take the troll. Yeah, it's pretty good. We got a Jecht. That's a good one. Three mana. Dismember? Still Moon Cavalier. Okay, that doesn't have Menace. It doesn't, it's a, we've got Menace. Yes. They don't draw a creature here, we win. Or a removal spell. At an orc? Okay, we just win then. That was very close. Cool game. We got the Matthias is famous in the Vintage Discord from the for the the easy top decks clap clap comment. Oh, we were both in a top deck war, so that can happen. All right, good games. Okay, here we go. Yes. Um. Weird hand. So if we're against we're against combo Lurrus, this is pretty good. If we're against Lurrus Control, this is pretty bad. I do think it's worth it. It's iffy though, but I think I'll keep it. See if they want to counter our Lotus. They don't. I just want to Thoughtseize them. Do they care about my Thoughtseize? Ancestral, dig. Okay, take the Ancestral. That frog's a freaking problem though. Alright, we need a little help here. That is a little help. Did they... Oh, did they draw a Spell Pierce? Oh, that's brutal. No. Oh, jeez. We got by not waiting. Okay. That was their one draw. Yeah, no, that's on me, though, because we've got the Void Mirror in play. We should have just waited until they played the frog, I guess. Oh, that's brutal. Yeah. Alright. That's on me. I guess that's a misplay? We need a long goodbye or an Entomb here. They would both be great. It's not what we want. I think we know about the... Yeah, I mean, they can pitch cards, that's fine. Stock up. Sure. Alright, we pretty much have to draw an Entomb here. Wow. Yeah, we punted this one away. Certainly feels like. We'll take the frog, though. Oh, they got 3 cards in their graveyard. Alright. I don't know. Did you think... Should I should have gone for the Entomb Reanimate when I did, or should I wait for them to play the frog and then get the Atraxa afterwards? Certainly feels like maybe I messed up. Seal removal is a problem. Alright, they got us. Yeah, it feels bad. But like it was one misstep and then like maybe 3 spell pairs they could have drawn. And if we would have just waited for their turn, we could have played around it. So I think it was just maybe wrong. Hard to say. I think it's just wrong. Check out the Void Mirror. I don't love the Thoughtseize. I think on the play we keep the combo package. Probably take out the Vamp though. I got the... Let's try that. I have probably a pretty different setup on the draw. I feel like I threw that away. Game 1. But I needed exactly because we had the Void Mirror in play. The forces, I think I felt too safe from the forces. Um, so if we grief now, the issue is I think we have to grief now in case they playing a like a cage or something, like those kind of cards. Demonic Mindbreak Trap is terrible. Stock up Lorien of Veiled Frog. I think I just reanimate a frog, to be honest. Maybe that's stupid. Demonic Tutor, Lorien. Ugh. All right, I'm just going to give them one draw, and if they got... I just do it now. They definitely have draws here that punish us, but we'll see what happens. Island. We're going to go for it again. If they drew what they needed, they drew what they needed. Well, that's helpful. Alright, so we'll take a swamp. We'll take the Black Lotus. We'll take a long goodbye. And we'll take a Dauthi Voidwalker. Done. Let's spell 1. They got a trap in hand. This is spell 2. And we pass. Why did they not play anything? I think we want to grief them, right? Let's attack. Push. I think that's okay. I think we're still playing around the trap here, so we're just going to pass. They just have to find the bounce spell. So we can't just sit around here forever. That's a good one. Black. Let's play. Play the Dauthi Voidwalker first. Dismiss. So dig through time. Mindbreak Trap. Frog Snapcaster. What can they Snapcaster? They could Snapcaster Demonic and that taps them out. Dig would be 4, 5, 6. I think Dig is scarier. No, 1, 2. We got a Dauthi Voidwalker play. 4, 5, 6, 7. They're short there. So just Snapcaster then. The client is lagging. Okay, you've got Fatal Push. Yeah. Dig through time. They can get the seal here. The seal will do it. Well, it'll buy them a turn, at least. Okay, they didn't find the bounce spell. All right, we're gonna take out the jumbo. And maybe they're bringing in more. our graveyard stuff. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. Maybe go down 1 Entomb. Play the graveyard stuff's still like our strongest plan. I don't really want to go too far, too low, you know. I think on the draw, maybe a Void Mirror for a Thoughtseize. It's tough. We can Thoughtseize ourselves if it really comes to that. Let's try that. Yeah, we keep it. It's kind of meh, but Ponder. Didn't think they'd be playing Ponder. It's interesting. Did they mulligan? No, they played a... Alright, so we've got the Entomb. We can either use that or the Long Goodbye at the end of their turn. Are they a combo deck? No, they're playing Frux. I'm confused by the Ponders. The deck doesn't usually play Ponders. Yeah. They want to counter this, that's fine. We're just trying to grab our Atraxa. Alright. We got a game. Ooh, they got a Saga. That's not good for us. We're pretty bad against Saga. We can pitch cast the Grief and then tutor for a Reanimate. Why are we frozen? We seem to be frozen. I think we are going to go with this one. We're keeping the Dauthi up. Mana Drain. Ooh, that's a problem. But we get to do this now. Okay. They got a force of will, they got us here. Let's see if they got a force of will. They do. That's bad. Alright, well. Mana Drain, Force of Will, Trap did get us there, I guess. It's unfortunate. We're frozen now. Yeah, I guess the 2-pounders sculpted that hand. That worked out, so unfortunate for us. Now they can buy Lurrus. Yep. Probably just buy Lurrus, I guess. Swamp. I didn't even want to buy Lurrus. Okay. They might have another mana drain then, but we can't just sit here and do nothing. I would like a removal spell, where they're Lurrus or a Reanimate. Reanimate would be pretty great. That's not good. I think we just have to pass here. Fortunately. Yep. That's bad. Removal spell. Removal spell. Void Mirror. Not a removal spell. Yeah, fair enough. The problem here is they've got Lurrus, so obviously the bigger problem was Saga. We'd be completely fine if they didn't have a Saga, but losing the counter war and stuff means that they've got an extra big resource and we don't, which is a problem. That's something. Yeah. That's good against us. I think that means we're dead now. Yep. Yeah. That's bad. Yeah, us losing that war there with the drain and the trap and stuff. Yeah. They just kill us on the crack back here, we can scoop. That was close. We should have won. Maybe. We probably could have won game 1 if I would have just sequenced better. But, you know, I wasn't playing around the one misstep and 2 or 3 spell pierces. Maybe I should have been. We won game 2. I think this game was just unlucky. They had Drain, Force of Will, and Trap. I think that was just too much. I don't think we're supposed to play around them having all that, so I think it's okay. It was a close one. Maybe there's a way to make that. Yeah. A little disappointed. Okay, we're back after incredible amounts of lag. Artifact. Not even going to highlight, is it? Oh, jeez. Artifact. No. We're just dead in the water, aren't we? Land. Nope. Like, we just win here. We get Black Lotus, Dark Ritual, and Grief. We can get even this too, and we just grief them, and we deal with whatever issue goes coming up, and we win. I mean, almost certainly. That's very annoying. We can't. It should highlight when you click them. We're just gonna time out here. So I'm probably gonna scrap the first part here. The first part is me playing mulling to 4 because we didn't have any lands, and going turn 1 Bauble, turn 2 we drew the Bojuka Bog, not the Bojuka Bog, the Boggart Bog, to go turn 1, turn 2, Entomb Reanimate, and now we're just going to timeout because we can't actually do anything. Grief. Now we're completely frozen. Not even the timer's going. Well, this is one way to do it now. Yeah, we lost our blue Lotus. Jeez. Part of me wants to just click no. Maybe I can win if I click no. I want Grief, Swamp, Lotus, and Dark Ritual. How those four. All right. Black Lotus. Okay. We got one. Grief. Yep. Dark Ritual. Swamp. Okay, done. We have 5 minutes. Great. Oh, we got a Vexing Bauble in play. Forgot about that. Just ridiculous lag. We can't even F6 without getting lag. I guess they got lag now too. Sure. Did I draw a card? So they drew a card. Shit. We got a Chrome Mox in hand. Didn't want to do any of that. We are so laggy. I don't want to do any of this. I wanted, you know, this was not at all what I was going for, but we are on a little bit of a time crunch, obviously. Sure. I should have pitched the Grave first, then we would just win. Should have. There's a million ways we could have just won already. They have to chump block. Black. No. Cast. Sad that we would have won this one without the incredible amounts of lag. Like the match, obviously we still win the game because we just kind of swing here and we win, but done. Alright, so after all that, we do win, but with 3 minutes left in incredible lag. I think we just mull to try and get a broken turn 1, and if we don't get it, we scoop and go to game 3. And try and get a broken turn 1. I don't think this is broken enough. Maybe it is. We can go turn 1 grief, reanimate their guy. We draw an Entomb, we can get a Cactuar. Maybe it's good enough. Collective Brutality would be a great draw as well. I think we just keep it and hope. What a wild ride. Even without any lag, it would still be hard to win one of these two games in 3 minutes, but with the lag it's impossible. But we will certainly try. Before I then file an angry reimbursement claim to get my play points back. Even though this is the last match, and we've already gone at least 3-2, so we're 3-1 going into this match, so I'll get I'll get my money back, but obviously we won game one in spite of all that nonsense. There's a reasonable chance we win the whole match, so we get a lot more prizes for 4-1 than 3-2. So I want my I want my refund. I guess our opponent is also lagging. I think our opponent is suffering from the lag issue. So, assuming we end up playing Magic here, I think we are just going to go, turn 1 Grief, and then try and get like a Dungeoneer on turn 2. That's the kind of hand that could, maybe get there. Or we draw an Entomb and we get a Jumbo. I think those are like the only options. Collective Brutality would work too. We could discard the Grief and then reanimate it. And then time out from trying to select cards. I suppose we could also Grief turn 1, pitching Atraxa. Geez, not again. Okay, so that was a really strong showing. I'm going to count that as a 4-1. If you haven't watched this match, we won game 1, but due to absolutely incredible lag, we finished our win of game 1 on like turn 6 with like 4 minutes left. Just incredible lag. I actually filed a complaint with Magic Online after, and I got my league refunded. So on top of the prizes that I got from actually like doing well in the league, I actually got a refund because of the ridiculous lag that we had in this last round here. So I'm counting this as a win, because if you haven't watched it, I won game 1 and then we didn't even get to play game 2 because without actually playing any cards, I timed out. it was so bad, like just trying to Entomb, just one click Entomb for Atraxa, it took 5 minutes. I think I actually like probably just going to remove the first half of this game just because it was just painful. If you want to see how bad the lag was, watch this one. But if you want to see good gameplay, do not watch this one. Watch any other game. Had 3 really strong wins, and I could have won this one. If you go watch game, I'll probably put this one as like round 3, round 3 or 4. I usually, if you're unfamiliar, I usually kind of reorder my games. I'll keep this one as round 5 because this was terrible. This will be round 3 or round 4. So we got game 2, but game 1 we had. I think I could have won game 1. So we griefed them. I Thoughtseize them on turn 1. I played back. No. They had. Forget the scenario exactly. You can go watch the first game, but basically they had 1 turn to draw either Spell Pierce. I had a Vexing Bauble in play, so they couldn't. Not a Vexing Bauble. I had a Void Mirror in play, so they couldn't force a will my Reanimate. They had 1 turn because I think I played the Thoughtseize before the turn before, so they had 1 turn to draw either Mental Misstep or one of their like 2 or 3 Spell Pierces. Those are the only things they could do to answer my Reanimate on Atraxa, and they drew a Mental Misstep and we lost. But we had Void Mirror in play, and we knew they had Frog, so there's a case to be made where I should have waited for them to play Frog and then just Reanimate afterwards, just like skip a turn, even though I could have reanimated Atraxa. But like, there's no guarantee that they play Frog. I don't know. Like, just if they drew a misstep, they might have just kept it up as like protection. I don't know. It's a tough one. It was a very close match. It was against, Lurrus Control, which obviously is going to be a tough matchup for our non-Lurrus combo deck, but it was very close. I do feel like I could have won that one. And we won 3 of the other ones, so we won 1 game here, the game 1. We only played game 1 here, we won. A really strong showing, really like that. I think the deck has legs. You got ideas to improve it or whatnot, let me know. Always trying to improve my decks and open to ideas, but I thought this was very strong. Like I don't think this is at all embarrassing to play. I think it's like, you could play this in the challenge and it'd be respectable. I might even play it in a challenge, at some point, just, for fun, see how it goes. It just seemed very reasonable. Anyway, like, subscribe, all that. Throw me a comment down below, a suggestion or an idea or, anything really. What's your favorite card in the deck? I don't know. Just something, helps with the algorithm and all that, so I'll appreciate it. And if you got a genuine question or comment, that's always appreciated. Just, really do enjoy, seeing what people think about decks and whatnot. And I'll see you next time. All right. Thank you.